Hi, everybody. George Bliss here on the softball hotline, and sitting next to me is the captain, the victorious captain of the flashback team, none other than Jibs, Hernandez. And Jibs, what a year you had this year. I'm telling you, it's incredible. Tell me about how Westchester and all the other leagues started out this year.
Well, first of all, George, if I can, I'd like to thank our sponsorship, Fritz Zimmerman from March Manufacturing, also the great Rich Melman, and our local restaurants who help us out, Gulliver's on Roosevelt, and also Scratch Kitchen on the Madison Strip there in Forest Park. And also when we have our raffles, everybody who helps us out with our raffle tickets, because without their support, none of this would be able to happen to us play this beautiful game.
You got it. Now, you guys had a really up and down year. You won the Chicagoland Classic out there at Mount Prospect. You did pretty good in the Westchester League, but here came the No Glove Nationals at Forest Park, and what happened?
That was actually the only tournament we stumbled in. Every other tournament we played pretty well, but Forest Park, for whatever reason, we just came out flat, and it was just a number of guys. It might have woke us up. A little bit, because after that stumble, I know as a team we're humiliated and we were embarrassed. And since then, we kind of hit our stride. We from the Forest Park tournament to the Nationals, we've played really well.
Well, the Forest Park No Glove Nationals, almost 48 years now. Flashback has won 4 of them, so you've won 10% of it. But this year was your lowest point in Forest Park. You guys just didn't play well there for some reason. As you mentioned, you came back really strong right after that. Let's go back to your history. You're from the local area, very, very extremely pressure-packed pitcher. You have an unbelievable delivery. As a matter of fact, I talked to Johnny Ryan at OBI. He said, I kind of copied Jibs' moves. That's why I've done better this year. So a compliment from the guys at OBI who won this year's Forest Park. But you go back to the old Flash team with Johnny Eckert, going back to Melrose Park, et cetera. Tell us a little bit of the history of your background.
Yeah, well, that was and those were some great days with Raph and Eck and Auntie Tofano and John, and I could just keep on going about those names. But man, we used to have so much fun and have a blast in the neighborhood there, and just tear it up, play and drink, and a lot of great memories and great friendships that I have for the rest of my life.
Now you come back to the great SSA major tournament this year in Elgin, and you lost to CJs of Iowa in an early round. Are you sitting down 14-2? What happened there?
They came out and pounded. They hit every gap, and we had a few errors, but then compounded it with some good hitting. And Steve started that game. I went in, and at that point, it didn't really matter. We were just trying to get through there and regroup, and I believe our next game then was Rack City, and we just regrouped really well after that, and that might have been another wake-up call for us.
Now, let's admit, you guys lost big to Iowa with the win. All of a sudden, the field shifted around a little bit. You started pitching really, really strong. And you have big Steve Batnich behind you. So I believe here, as a reporter, you have the 2 best pitchers in all of softball. So you're strong. If somebody gets hit, you can recover pretty easily. But then came the final 2 games with the Miller 45s, who have won a myriad of Forest Parks and national tournaments. And you won both games pretty well. First game 6-2. What happened in those games? You were on your game, your defense hit, and your coaching was incredible. Walk us through those 2 victories.
Well, we played well, like I said, and we did a lot of fundamental things well. And as far as the coaching, I just try to coach into people's strengths. Doesn't mean that nobody on my team's a bad player, because I believe everyone on my team's a good player. But certain guys hit in certain situations. Some guys like to pull the ball or go left center. And if we have first and second, and I got someone capable of like Bobby Russ and Denny Lawler, 2 lefties who I want the ball in the right field side of the infield or in the right field corner, and just so happened they come up with big hits. And Nicky Marchese had a really big, I don't want to say role, but he came in big for us, and he spotted the outfielders, and he came up with some really big hits. I believe in the first game it was. And when you can lean on those experienced veterans to come, just makes your job easier. And it still comes down to execution.
It does, and you guys pulled every switch, and it was perfect. Let's go back to Bobby Russ for just a second. I've been covering the Russ brothers forever. Randy Russ was on the sidelines with his father cheering on the team. Here's Mike Meyer, a great young star, an outfielder, infielder, does it all. The kid could get a hit anytime up. You bring in Bobby Russ, who quite frankly was a little rusty, but you knew that this guy had the mindset to do it. He gets the key hit, and that was it. That was the breaking point there. That was a good button push right there. Bobby Russ and then Denny Law, they're back-to-back. You can't coach any better than that.
Well, like again, it comes on the execution, and Mike Meyer, he's my boy. I love that kid. He plays so hard, and it just felt at that time, Bobby and his experience and his right field ball there, and Bobby's been through that millions of times in that situation, and like I said, it comes on the execution, and he did it well.
And don't forget the coaches, Mike Cam, JT, and of course your great guy on the bench, Richie Wagner. Who's a better group than that?
Yeah, that's a good experience group. Sometimes they drive me a little crazy, but they're a good group of guys, and I appreciate everything they do. And it's not easy, being out there in that blazing sun and 90 plus weather, and JT and Cam and Wags, that not young fellas out there, and just being out there in that heat and being with the boys and keeping everybody loose and ground balls and batting practice. Believe me, me and all the fellas, we appreciate everything that they do.
On behalf of Jeff Jibs Hernandez, he's won another one, folks, top pitcher in the game. We're live here at the Softball Hall of Fame in Forest Park. This is the one and only Softball Hotline. See you next year at Flashback and play softball.